Today's story is about Jake Reynolds, a poor mechanic whose life changed forever when a CEO jokingly said she'd marry him if he could fix her daughter, Lily's broken wheelchair. With no money but a heart full of determination, Jake accepted the impossible challenge. Watch how he transforms scraps into a beautiful custom wheelchair, giving Lily freedom, joy, and hope. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and tell us where you're watching from. Now let's get started. In the bustling streets of New York City, Jake Reynolds, male, 35, a poor but talented mechanic, worked long hours in his cramped garage. Every day was a struggle, yet his heart remained big and compassionate. Surrounded by grease, engines, and spare parts, Jake was always willing to help anyone in need. His life lacked luxury and comfort, but his determination and skill were unmatched. Late nights spent working under dim lights were common, and despite exhaustion, he never complained. For Jake, his garage was more than a workplace. It was a place where problems could be solved, dreams could be built, and hope could be restored. One afternoon, the garage bell rang, announcing an unusual visitor. Victoria Lang, female, 40, a wealthy CEO, stepped in, accompanied by her daughter Lily, female, 8, disabled. Lily's wheelchair was broken beyond repair, its wheels jammed, brakes unsafe, and the seat torn. Victoria, with a teasing tone, looked at Jake and said, "Fix this, and maybe I'll marry you someday." Jake froze in shock. At first, the remark felt absurd, but when he looked into Lily's hopeful, wide eyes, he forgot the joke. In that moment, the task became bigger than a challenge. It was about giving a child her freedom. Jake examined the wheelchair closely, noting every flaw. The frame was weak, the brakes faulty, and the wheels completely rusted. Despite lacking money or modern equipment, he felt a surge of determination. He vowed silently to Lily, "I can do this." His hands itched to work, and he quickly gathered tools and spare parts from his cluttered garage. Old bicycles, shopping carts, and discarded car seats would all play a role. What might seem like junk to others was a treasure trove for Jake, a canvas for his skill, patience, and ingenuity. As night fell, the garage came alive with the sounds of hammering, welding sparks, and metal cutting. Jake's focus was unwavering. Every joint he tightened, every metal piece he bent, carried a singular purpose, giving Lily the mobility she deserved. His hands were bruised and bleeding from countless hours of effort, but his spirit remained unbroken. Each spark from the welding torch illuminated his determined face. Outside, neighbors occasionally peered in, curious or skeptical. Some whispered that he was wasting his time. But Jake ignored them entirely. His vision was clear. Lily's happiness mattered more than anyone's doubt. Victoria and Lily would often peek through the garage windows during these long nights. Lily's curiosity and hope were visible in her eyes, while Victoria's skeptical gaze slowly turned to admiration. Jake, immersed in his work, didn't notice time passing. He imagined how Lily would react once she could finally move freely. Unburdened by a broken chair, each weld, screw, and adjustment was made with precision, infused with his love and care. For Jake, this project was no longer about fixing a wheelchair. It was a mission of compassion, a statement that determination and skill could overcome even the most impossible obstacles. Days turned into weeks, and Jake continued his relentless work. He polished old shopping cart wheels until they shone, reinforced the frame with extra support, and carefully adjusted the seating for comfort. Every bolt was tested, every joint reinforced, ensuring the chair would be safe and durable. Despite exhaustion, Jake's meticulousness never wavered. He knew this chair wasn't just about mobility, it was about dignity. When Lily finally tried the seat, it needed to feel like freedom itself. Her safety, comfort, and joy were his ultimate priority, and he poured every ounce of his skill into achieving that. Late one night, after countless hours of effort, the chair was finally ready. Jake stepped back, his hands trembling slightly, as he rolled it forward into the living room. The chair gleamed under the warm lighting, its smooth wheels and polished frame reflecting the soft glow. Lily's eyes widened in disbelief and amazement. "Daddy, is this really for me?" She whispered, her voice a mix of joy and surprise. Jake nodded, tears welling in his eyes. The countless hours of struggle, pain, and dedication culminated in this single moment of pure happiness. Lily gingerly sat in the wheelchair, testing its smooth movement. A radiant smile spread across her face as she spun gently, laughter filling the garage. Jake stood nearby, overwhelmed with emotion, wiping away tears of joy. The chair was more than a repaired object. It symbolized freedom, love, and hope. In that moment, the garage, once just a place of labor, became a sanctuary of dreams realized. Jake realized he had achieved more than a mechanical feat. He had restored a child's happiness, giving her a chance to experience the world without limitations. For Jake, the rewards of his labor went far beyond the physical wheelchair. Every scratch on his hands, every sleepless night, and every bead of sweat was a testament to love and dedication. Lily's laughter was the soundtrack of his success. Victoria, watching quietly from the doorway, could barely believe her eyes. The poor mechanic had done what many thought impossible. Jake's story was not just one of skill. It was a story of resilience, compassion, and the extraordinary results that love can create when paired with determination. For weeks, Jake Reynolds, male, 35 mechanic, poured every ounce of his energy into transforming scrap materials into a wheelchair that could give Lily, female 8 disabled, the freedom she deserved. His small garage was filled with the smell of metal, oil, and welding sparks. Every day he scavenged old bicycles, shopping carts, and discarded car seats, analyzing which pieces could be reshaped or reinforced. Tools clanked, sparks flew. He and his hands bore cuts and bruises from relentless work. Neighbors occasionally passed by, murmuring disbelief at the tiny miracle in progress. But Jake's eyes were fixed on one goal: Lily's happiness. Late nights became a rhythm of meticulous work and quiet reflection. The garage glowed with the flicker of welding torches as Jake bent metal frames into precise angles, ensuring balance and stability. Each wheel was polished, brakes carefully adjusted, and the seat cushioned for comfort. Sweat dripped down his face, mixing with smudges of grease, yet his focus never wavered. Lily often peered through the dusty window, her wide eyes following every hammer strike and weld. Her awe gave Jake a renewed sense of purpose, reminding him that this project was bigger than mechanics. It was about love, determination, and hope. Jake meticulously studied each component, testing weight distribution and structural integrity, even the smallest. Imperfection could affect Lily's safety, and he refused to compromise. He reinforced joints with extra bolts, polished metal to avoid rust, and measured the chair repeatedly to ensure proper fit. Nights turned into mornings without notice, but the thought of Lily spinning freely in her new wheelchair kept him going. The mechanical work became a meditation of sorts. Each spark, each cut, each screw symbolized a piece of his heart. It was exhausting, yet profoundly rewarding, and Jake could feel himself growing stronger with every passing day. At times, frustration threatened to take hold. Some wheels didn't align, cushions tore during testing, and metal pieces bent unexpectedly. But Jake refused to surrender. He would step back, analyze the problem, and innovate solutions, using discarded car springs for suspension and bicycle chains for stability. He combined old materials in ways no one had imagined. His creativity met necessity, and slowly, the chaotic pile of scraps transformed into something functional. Lily's occasional laughter or wide-eyed smile when she peeked through the window became the fuel that powered him through these moments of struggle, keeping his determination alive. Neighbors and even Victoria Lang, female 40 CEO, occasionally stopped to watch. Victoria's skepticism gradually shifted to admiration as she saw Jake's relentless dedication. "I've never seen anyone work like this," she whispered to a colleague one day as sparks flew from Jake's welding torch. Lily's innocent excitement mirrored Victoria's growing respect. She began to realize that wealth and status were irrelevant compared to skill, heart, and love. The garage, once overlooked and mundane, had become a theater of passion and perseverance, with Jake as the silent hero crafting a miracle from scraps. As days turned into weeks, the wheelchair began taking shape. The frame, once twisted and broken, now stood sturdy and sleek. Wheels were perfectly aligned, polished and smooth. Brakes were tested repeatedly, ensuring safety. The seat, reinforced with cushions and soft padding, invited Lily to sit comfortably. Jake stepped back often, wiping sweat from his brow, studying his work with critical eyes. Each detail mattered, from weight balance to aesthetic finish. To outsiders, it might have looked like a simple chair, but for Jake and Lily, it was the embodiment of hope, freedom, and determination. Finally, after nights of toil, the wheelchair was complete. Jake carefully rolled it forward, the polished metal gleaming. Under the garage lights, Lily's eyes widened as she saw the finished creation. "Daddy, is this really for me?" she whispered, her voice trembling with joy. Jake smiled through tears, nodding. Her hands touched the chair's smooth surface, spinning it lightly, feeling the stability and freedom it offered. Her laugh, pure and unrestrained, filled the garage, echoing off the walls. The once dull and dusty workspace now resonated with life, energy, and triumph. Jake realized in that moment that his work had become more than mechanics. He hadn't just repaired a wheelchair, he had restored a child's confidence and joy. Every cut, every weld, every sleepless night had been worth it. He watched Lily push herself forward, turning and spinning, her smile brighter than any sunshine. For Jake, the garage was no longer merely a place of labor. It was a birthplace of miracles. This handcrafted wheelchair symbolized love, resilience, and the extraordinary power of determination, proving that even the most ordinary hands could create something truly extraordinary. The transformation wasn't just physical, it was emotional. Lily's spirit had been lifted, and Jake felt a profound sense of fulfillment. Victoria watched silently from a distance, her eyes wide with awe. A man she had underestimated had crafted a solution that even professionals had doubted. Jake's skill, perseverance, and heart had created not just a wheelchair, but a story of hope. The success of the project illuminated a simple truth: when determination meets love, even the impossible becomes achievable. Every spark, bruise, and sleepless night had culminated in a single perfect moment of triumph. The morning sun streamed through the windows of Jake Reynolds' small garage as he carefully rolled the newly built wheelchair toward Lily. The polished frame gleamed in the soft light, and the smooth wheels reflected the labor and love poured into them. Lily's wide eyes followed the chair with disbelief, her tiny hands trembling with excitement. Jake knelt beside her, a mixture of exhaustion and pride on his face. Every scar, cut, and sleepless night flashed before him, culminating in this one perfect moment. It wasn't just a chair, it was freedom, hope, and the fulfillment of a promise to a child who deserved more than life had initially offered. Victoria Lang, female, 40, wealthy CEO, stood a few steps behind, arms crossed, yet her expression betrayed her. Amazement. She had doubted whether a poor mechanic could accomplish what even trained professionals deemed impossible. Now, seeing Lily's joyous face and the flawless wheelchair, she realized her skepticism had been unfounded. Victoria's mind raced, contemplating the potential impact Jake's skills could have on other children in need. She knew at that instant that his talent and compassion deserved recognition and support. The joke about marriage had long faded. What remained was the awe-inspiring reality of a miracle created from determination and love. Lily's laughter filled the room as she spun gently in the wheelchair, testing every movement with delight. Jake watched, tears glistening in his eyes, feeling a profound sense of accomplishment. The girl's happiness resonated deeper than any praise or reward he had ever received. This simple act, born from dedication and care, had transformed a child's world. Every bolt tightened, every weld reinforced, every piece of scrap repurposed now served a greater purpose. Jake realized that his humble garage had become a sanctuary of hope, a place where perseverance and skill could rewrite someone's life story in the most tangible way possible. Victoria approached Jake slowly, her high heels clicking softly against the concrete floor. "Jake, I don't even know what to say," she admitted, her voice a mixture of respect and awe. "You've done what so many professionals couldn't even attempt. Your work, your heart, it's extraordinary." Jake shrugged modestly, wiping sweat and grime from his forehead. "I just wanted to see her smile," he replied simply. There was no ego in his words, only genuine care. Victoria, observing the depth of his dedication, felt a wave of admiration. She knew this moment wasn't just about a single wheelchair. It was the beginning of something far bigger. Within hours, news of Jake's achievement spread through social media. Pictures of Lily spinning joyfully in her newly built wheelchair went viral, accompanied by captions highlighting the mechanic's ingenuity and compassion. People marveled at the fact that a man with limited resources had accomplished what doctors claimed was impossible. Comments poured in from around the country, praising Jake's dedication and calling for similar stories of hope to be shared. The world was witnessing not just a repair job, but a testament to human resilience, creativity, and the power of love. Jake's story became an inspiration to thousands overnight. Victoria made a decisive call. Later that day, she wanted to sponsor Jake's work, providing him with materials, tools, and a platform to create wheelchairs for other children in need. Her resources, combined with Jake's skill, could transform countless lives. She offered him not just financial support, but her mentorship and connections, ensuring that his talent could scale and reach the children who needed it most. Jake, who had once been labeled just a mechanic, now stood at the threshold of a larger mission. The impact of one father's dedication had begun to ripple far beyond a single garage in New York City. Jake's focus shifted to planning a new workshop, where he could systematically design affordable and sturdy wheelchairs for children across the country. He envisioned a place filled with innovation, teamwork, and compassion, where every scrap of metal could be transformed into freedom. Lily, inspired by her father's perseverance, expressed excitement at helping him test new designs. Together, they formed an unspoken team, the mechanic and the child whose smile had motivated a miracle. Jake realized that this partnership was symbolic of a greater truth. Love and perseverance could create results far beyond what resources or status could achieve. As weeks passed, Jake's workshop began to take shape. Volunteers arrived, eager to contribute to his mission. Designers, engineers, and even other mechanics joined forces, learning from Jake's methods and passion. The community watched in awe as children who had once been confined by broken or inadequate wheelchairs experienced newfound mobility. Jake's work became a beacon of hope, demonstrating that ordinary people could achieve extraordinary outcomes. Through dedication, ingenuity, and heart, Victoria remained a steadfast supporter, providing guidance and resources while allowing Jake to lead with authenticity and humility. Months later, Jake reflected on the journey that had begun with a simple challenge from Victoria. What started as a teasing comment about marriage had evolved into a life-altering mission. Lily's laughter, once confined to short bursts of joy, now resonated freely in parks, schools, and community centers where Jake's wheelchairs were being used. Each child's smile became a testament to the power of determination and love. Jake had proven that Background, wealth, or societal labels were irrelevant when someone combined skill with heart. The mechanic who had been underestimated now stood as a symbol of hope, inspiring countless others to pursue seemingly impossible dreams. The transformation was not merely physical, but deeply emotional. Victoria, once a skeptical CEO, now openly praised Jake's integrity and vision. Communities began to recognize the importance of supporting innovation born from compassion. Media outlets covered the story, celebrating the mechanic who defied expectations and the father who refused to let his daughter's disability limit her happiness. Jake's journey became a narrative of resilience, reminding viewers that love, perseverance, and creativity could surpass barriers that money or expertise alone could not overcome. It was a story of miracles crafted from dedication and belief. Ultimately, Jake realized that his life had changed as profoundly as Lily's. The small garage that had once represented hard labor and struggle had transformed into a hub of hope and innovation. He had not only built a wheelchair, but had also built a legacy one where children's mobility and joy could flourish regardless of circumstance. Victoria's support amplified his reach, but it was Jake's relentless determination, fueled by love for his daughter, that had created this wave of positive change. Together they showed the world that extraordinary results were possible when heart, skill, and perseverance united. In the final moments of that transformative day, Jake watched Lily roll effortlessly in her wheelchair, laughter spilling into the room. Victoria stood beside them, admiration and pride in her eyes. The mechanic and the CEO, once worlds apart, now shared a common purpose, improving lives through creativity, compassion, and action. Jake understood that the joke that had sparked this journey was now a distant memory, replaced by real achievement, recognition, and meaningful impact. The lives of Jake, Lily, and Victoria had been forever changed, showing that dedication and love could overcome any obstacle, and miracles were often created by ordinary hands willing to work with extraordinary heart.